Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
So currently we're looking at an air temperature of 79 degrees and a dew point of 75. Increasing dew points, increasing humidity, and an easterly wind well established will bring us some gusty conditions, I think, especially during the evening tonight as we get a little bit of a surge of winds out of the east. Temperatures across the region are fairly uniform, coming in the upper 70s to near the 80-degree mark in most every location because of that easterly wind coming at us over land. Big story, of course, is the tropics and what's going on here. We have two tropical systems which we're watching. Only one of them will impact the state of Florida, and that is this very ragged circulation down to the south. It is a tropical depression. It is giving forecasters a real problem, let me tell you, believe me. As I look at this system, it's really not a well-defined, well-organized tropical depression. Computer models continue to forecast that it will strengthen with time. Some of them bring it up to a hurricane in time. Those are the less reliable models. The global models, the ones that tend to be more reliable, well, some of them actually dissipate the storm. Some of them keep it as a strong to medium tropical storm as it begins to approach the coast of Florida, which it eventually will. In the short term, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think what we'll notice are winds that will be increasingly breezy out of the east and eventually the south and then eventually out of the southwest. And that will take more moisture and bring it in our direction, increasing our chances of rainfall. But right now, everything is pretty good. Morning commute looks fine. Don't see any problems there. Today will be similar to yesterday with a few more showers around in the afternoon and perhaps a little bit breezier conditions in the evening. There's our tropical system. There's another one, by the way. And there are some tropical storm watches up for the Carolina coast because of this system. We have two names available, the next two names, Hermine and Ian. And both of these systems have the potential for developing. So it's kind of a race to see which one gets named first as to which one we'll be talking about. But the system, of course, that interests us down to the south continues to move toward the west today. And then eventually, I think by about Tuesday or into Wednesday, it'll start lifting to the north. And then most reliable computer models suggest that it will then hook back on Thursday toward the state of Florida, increase its forward speed, and scoot right across the state out into the Atlantic. And we will watch that as it occurs. We're going to take the forecast kind of day by day. I don't think this will be a big wind event for Sarasota at the present time. I think we're looking at about a 20% chance of maybe some minor tropical storm force winds right along the immediate coastline. You know, that's not going to do a lot of structural damage, but it will increase the rip current problem. It'll create some pretty rough seas out there for boaters. And it does have the potential of producing some thunderstorms that could become severe, perhaps even carrying with it some risk of tornadoes. We'll see how that actually plays out and how the storm develops. As far as breezy winds go, you know, we expect those to be this evening, some 25-mile-an-hour gusts or so possible. And then by midweek, possibly some tropical storm impacts. TD number 9 continuing to drift off into the central Gulf waters and then hook back toward the coastline, most likely up around the Big Bend region. We'll watch and see. We're still within the cone of uncertainty, which means we have, of course, a high interest in this system. Most computer models, though, are tending toward a Big Bend panhandle kind of landfall for this system in whatever form it eventually takes. So we'll watch it and we'll monitor it. One thing we know, if you look at the available moisture for thunderstorm activity, with red being the wettest moisture from the surface to the top of the atmosphere, we will see an increase in that moisture across the state of Florida with time as our winds shift toward the south. And we could get some fairly heavy rainfall out of this system. East wind coming in at about 15 knots, gusty this afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised to see small craft advisories issued by Tuesday or Wednesday for our area waters. And possible watches issued for some parts of Florida by tomorrow. And then on Thursday, it'll probably, in whatever form, make its landfall up north of us. But still, we're in the cone of uncertainty, so we got to keep an eye on it. Things will improve by the weekend. Back